morning, class. Miss Munoz is very happy to see you today. Today, we are going to talk about something called a factor tree. So I need you to go ahead and open up your math journal. I know that in your math journal, we've already been working on your multiplication table. Well, I need you to go ahead and open up on a fresh page. We're going to have to write down a couple of new math terms and a couple of new math steps. Okay? So for a factor tree, we're going to need 3 definitions that we're going to have to write down on our math journal. The first one is going to be factors. Factors are numbers when multiplied together get another number. For example, we have the number 6, right? So 2 times 3 equals 6. We've learned that already going over our multiplication tables. So 2 and 3 are factors of the number 6. Okay? Everyone has that down on their math journal? Great. We're going to move on to our next definition. Our next definition is prime numbers. Prime numbers are a number that can only be multiplied by itself and the number 1. For example, the number 3 has the only factors of 1 times 3. Again, factors are numbers when multiplied together get another number. So 1 and 3 are factors of 3, but it is a prime number because those are the only numbers that will give you the number 3. Another number would be the number 5 because 1 times 5 gives you 5, but no other numbers will give you the number 5. Okay. These are terms that we are going to need to know to do our factor tree. So let's make sure we write them down on our math journals, okay? So our third definition that we need to know is composite numbers. Composite numbers are any number that has more than 2 factors. So again, factors are numbers when multiplied together get another number. So composite numbers, for example, could be like the number 8. Because 2 times 4 equals 8. But so does 1 times 8 equals 8. So because it has 1, 2, 3, 4 factors, it is a composite number. Okay? If 8 only could be multiplied by 1 and 8, so if this is only 1 times 8 and that's the only thing that'll give you 8, it'd be a prime number. But because 2 times 4 equals 8 as well, it is a composite number. Now that we have that cleared and we know what a composite and a prime number is, we're going to go over our math steps for what we call a factor tree. This tree is going to break down a number and give us basically the prime number. So what are our math steps to go ahead and get that prime number? Our first step is we write the number at the top of the page. You need space below because we're going to write our answer below. Our second step, we can use our multiplication tables to help us so we can find these factors, or we can go ahead and use a calculator. The calculator, we can go ahead and put 1, 2, 3, any number, so that we can find the different factors for the number. If it gives you a decimal point, it is not a factor in your calculator. If you put it in and you get a decimal point, that is not a factor. A factor will give you a whole number, okay? So number 3, if it is a composite number, again, composite numbers are a number that has more than 2 factors, we draw 2 lines below the number, diagonally, like you are making a triangle with the number on top. Okay. Step number 4, below the lines, write 2 factors on the number on top. If the number, in number 5, if the 2 numbers written down are composites, we have to do step 4 again until all numbers are prime numbers. At the bottom, we write down all the prime numbers. So the factor tree, we're trying to get all the factors that we can from a certain number. So it is very important we write down the math steps, okay? I'm going to give you a couple minutes to go ahead and write down these steps, and we're going to show you how these are going to work, okay? Okay, class, so now that we wrote down the math steps, I'm going to show you a couple of examples so that we can use this. Okay, so for example, the number 20. We write it down at the top, which is our step number 1. Okay, write the number at the top of the page. You need space below the number, okay? So we write it at the top. We have plenty of space down here for the number. And then it says, using your multiplication table, check to see if it is a prime number. You prefer, you can use a calculator, divide the number by 1, 2, 3. If it gives you a decimal, it is not a factor. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and use our multiplication table, or you can use a calculator. I'm gonna go ahead and use my calculator today, okay? So when we put in the number, we're gonna do number 2. Let's see what happens. So 20 divided by 2, it gives us 10. When 20 is divided by 2, it gives us 10. So that means that it is a factor. So we're going to go ahead and write that factor down like it says. Step 3, if it is a composite number, draw 2 lines below the number diagonally. So we're going to draw 2 numbers below diagonally. And then we are going to write the numbers here, the 2 factors that we found. So it'd be 2 and 10. So that was step number 4. And this was step number 3. And again, using our calculator was step number 2. Now step number 5, the 2 numbers written down here are composites. Do step 4 again. So is this a composite number? Can anything other than 1 times 2 give me 2? No, it's not. So we go ahead and leave that one alone. What about 10? Let's go ahead and try to see if we can find something for 10. Okay, so we're going to put in 2 again because it is an even number. So let's go ahead and try 2. So 10 divided by 2 gives me 5. So it is a whole number. So 2 and 5 are the factors of 10. So in our factor tree, this is what we're looking for, that all the last numbers be prime numbers. When we have them all prime numbers, we go ahead and write it down, and that is our answer. Okay, so we're going to go over a couple more examples. Make sure we're writing this down on our journal so that when we have to do our own, we can go ahead and use these to see exactly how Miss Muniz went ahead and did it. Okay. So for our next example, we have the number 36. Okay. So go ahead and choose. You can look at your multiplication table, or we can go ahead and use our calculator. So I'm going to use my calculator, and you can use any number. Okay, 36 times or divided by 5. No, that gave me a decimal, so we're not going to go ahead and use that. So what about 36 divided by 6? Okay, so it gave me a whole number, and it's saying that 36 divided by 6 is 6. So we're going to go ahead and write those down. What about 2 factors for these? Can anyone guess? Let's go ahead and use our calculator. So 6 divided by 2 equals, okay, so it's saying that 3. Okay, so these are the same, so we'll put 3 and 2, 3 and 2. And since these are prime numbers, we're going to go ahead and write them down here. And the way we try to write them down is from the smallest to the biggest. So 2, 2, 3, 3. Okay? So that is our answer for the number 36. Okay, let's try one more. This is going to be a little harder. It's a bigger number than what we're used to. Okay? We're going to go ahead and try the number 60. Sorry. Okay, so the number 60. Again, we're going to go ahead and try on our calculator. So 60 divided by, we're going to just go ahead and try 6. 60 divided by 6, it's a whole number. So it's going to be, so 60 divided by 6 was 10. I'm going to write down here 6. Now these two are composite numbers. So we're going to go ahead and try to find the factors of these. Okay, we can use our calculator or our multiplication tables. Okay, so 10 divided by 2. So it's saying 10 divided by 2 is 5 and 2. And we just did the number 6. Do you guys remember the two factors of number 6? That's right, so it's 3 and 2. So we're going to write down our answers here. 2, 2, 3, and 5. That would be our answers for our factor trees. Okay, guys, so we have these all down in our journal. I'm going to go ahead and give you a couple minutes just to finish writing this one up. Then I'm going to give you some examples, and I need you guys to complete them. We're going to come up to the board in our groups. I'm going to pair you off in groups of 4. And one of your team members will come up and show us how you did the factor tree and explain to us, okay? Okay. So for our examples for you to do, we're going to go ahead and use 21, 40, and 16. Okay, these are going to be the numbers that I want you to make a factor tree for, okay? If you have any questions, go ahead and raise your hand, but I prefer that you guys try to help each other out. Again, you can use your multiplication table or you can use your calculator, whatever helps you. And then I want you to come and write these down, and we're going to have you just give us a couple of examples. Okay, class, so you went ahead and did your examples, and your teammate already came up here and they wrote it down and they explained to you exactly how they got it. Johnny over here said he got 21 because he put it in his calculator and he saw that 21 divided by 3 gave him a whole number, and that was 7. And because the 3 and 7 are prime numbers, those were his answers. Very good. And we had Anna come up here and show us her factor for 40 and her group's factor. They used the number 4 and 10 on their multiplication table, and they went ahead and used the multiplication table again to see that 2 and 2 equals 4 and 2 and 5 equals 10. And they wrote down their answers here, 2, 2, 2, 5. Very good, Anna, that is the correct answer. And then we have over here group number 3, they went ahead and wrote down their factor tree. And they said that divide is 16 by 4, and they used their multiplication table too, just to make sure that they are getting it correct. Very good. I like that you used both their methods. So they used 4 and 4, and then they would check their multiplication table one more time to see if 4 can be an answer for any factors, and they saw that 2 was a factor. So they went ahead and wrote those down, and that was their answer. Very good. I'm very glad to see that you guys are getting this. So go ahead and write these examples down in your journal. And we're going to go ahead and pair you off into teams. We're going to do a quick quiz. I'm going to go ahead and hand you a poster board with a marker, and I want you to write down a number, any number. Figure out if it's a prime number, composite number. And I want you, once you find out if it's a prime number, composite number, go ahead and do the factor tree and try to get the lowest prime number you can on there, the way we've been doing it, okay, class? And it's going to be a quiz. You're going to be graded on it, and I need you guys to go ahead and take a couple minutes. I'm going to ask one volunteer to write your quiz down on the board, and just so that I can see if you guys got it right or wrong. And we're going to give you a couple minutes to go ahead and do that, okay, class? Go ahead and write this down before I erase it, okay? Okay, class, time's up for our quiz, and we had Henry come up here and write what his group did for their quiz. They chose the number 15. They said that they tried a lot of numbers on their calculator and they couldn't quite get it right, So they went and they used their multiplication table to see if they can find it. And they found it. They said that in their multiplication, they saw that 3 times 5 equals 15. And they couldn't find any other numbers. And because 3 and 5 is their prime numbers, that's where they stopped. 3 and 5. Very good. That is the correct answer. 3 and 5. So again, prime numbers, those are numbers that can only be multiplied by itself and the number 1. So very good, group 3. Okay, thank you for using your quiz. All right, class, so remember your homework tonight. We're going to go ahead and do page 101, problems number 1 through 6. I need you guys to go ahead and take your math journals home. Make sure you bring them back tomorrow because we will be continuing some of our math work today. So you're going to go home. You're going to use your math book, and again, it's going to be problems number 1 through 6. Very good, class. Okay, so again, remember your math steps when doing your work. And remember your definitions. If you go back and you can't remember what factors are, or prime numbers, or composite numbers, remember, those were the definitions we went over. Make sure you follow your math steps. I want to see everything written out. Go ahead and do the whole factor tree and make sure you write down your prime numbers the way we've been doing it, okay? Well, thank you very much, class. Go ahead and put your tables back the way they were. Go back to your own desk. And tomorrow we will continue our lesson. We're going to talk about factors in bigger numbers and how to find them, okay? Thank you, class, and let's go on to the next subject.